do it. So like let's say we're doing this for you, right? This is, just say this is Marina's account. This was Brubaker's. You would just delete all the account names here. It's going to mess up all the formulas, which is fine. Come back to your Brubaker tab, copy just your names, just copy your names of your customers.
Okay.
Go back to that other tab and paste them in here. Now you see as soon as you do that, it automatically pulls over the data from there because the VLOOKUPs are looking for that name and pulling over the cells off of it. If you have it set up correctly, just like this. Now there might be one or two that are kind of jacked up, like this California air conditioning job only. It's pulling a bunch of NA, meaning like the formula can't find that. So I come over here. I see that one, California air conditioning job only. I think it's because it's got an extra space in here. Let me go over here. Let's see. Yeah, you just take that extra, for whatever reason, when it copies over, it gave an extra space. Just take it out. It should be able to just take it out of there. And it should hypothetically, yep, there we go. It has extra space. Yeah, there we go. And then it should complete the formulas at the bottom, right? For this example, for him, right, he's at, for the total fiscal year quota, he's at almost 1.6 million for April and May and June, give or take, the first week of June, 2 weeks of June. There's his sales, his $6 million budget, right? And then you're going to be able to look, all the run rates get calculated. He's on a run rate as of right now, 8.5. The one thing you will have to manipulate when you do open this is this column, this F12 right here, I got highlighted. You'll need to change the months complete because that's how the run rate's calculated. So I just put it to 2.25, right? Basically, 2.25 months have passed in our fiscal year, and that's going to give you a pretty accurate run rate. But that's the only thing you would need to change in this. Everything else, you go to open this up, you just click refresh from dynamic. It'll take a second to think, and it's going to have the latest and greatest numbers from your dynamic sheet. So that's how you set up. This is, now just so you look, this is the first thing we went through, is this existing customer sales. This is every account he has. This is not just new business. This is every account he has. It's going to give him a good view of how his territory is performing. He went through here and changed the customer types to reflect what they're really buying. Like this AZ air conditioning is mostly PSNA, right? They're buying 124,000, but it's all PSNA. This is a Goodman, are we second line? Are they PLP? Is it multifamily, right? And then this will give you, and it also give you variances, right? So he can look at this and go, I might be a little bit off with air call, right? They're down a little bit. Maybe that was a job. Or Fantastic Air, what's going on with them? Is that a job? Did they lose us? Are we attritioning? Whatever. And then if you go down a little bit further, new business, this is where, same thing, formulas are going to work. Same thing where you just would delete all these out and then only add in your new business customers. Only add in the ones that you want to be tracking. So on this part, all he did was copy that name from up here and paste it down here, and then this pulled over all the data for it. And I want to show you this. So there's a key here. A lot of TSMs, this number says Robert Robel's report. This number is going to be different from Robert Robel's, and there's a reason. Because Robel's report, when it looks at your new business accounts, it looks at where they were at last year, fiscal year to date, versus this year, fiscal year to date. And that can be that's an important distinction, because that can be misleading. You might have had somebody say the first 6 months, they didn't do anything with us. You didn't, let's just say, Marina, you didn't convert them till October, right? Well, and right now they've done, say they did 100,000 in the first 2 months of this fiscal year, April and May. Well, it's going to be on Robel's, actual one from corporate on Robel's report, the way he calculates it, it's going to show, oh, that's $100,000 in growth. Well, that might not actually be the case because last year in April, May, they didn't do anything with this, but they maybe ended up the year at 75,000. The
Mm-hmm.
way we calculated this sheet here is to take in their total sales. If you actually notice, you'll see there's a lot of red over here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because we want to take in their total sales for the year. So if they did 124,000, we want to make sure that we don't want to show it as positive growth the second year until it's actually past that 124,000. Or even if it's a brand new account, just did 30,000 with us, right? You're not going to get credit until they hit 80, right? Or say they did 20,000 last year, and we're not going to get credit until it hits 70. You want to make sure it's not shown as a growth number when they might still be a little bit short, because at the end of the year, that's what matters, right? 50,000 over the previous fiscal. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I'm looking for, like, as example, if I'm looking at the red growth column and just a small number, it says negative $764. So they're $764 away from being growth, then start counting as growth.
Yeah. So last year they did 31,000 total, and right now they are at 30,669. So they're $764,000 before they'll actually surpass what they did total last year. So they're not necessarily going. This one is a
carryover.
Yeah, carryover. This Reyes. Let me make sure I'm looking at this correct. So yeah, I think it's technically carryover, but I don't know that they actually tracked last year, so that's why it's showing up like that. So yeah, their total sales were 31,433. Right now they're at 30,669. So he's real close to getting them to track the growth.
Okay.
And then if you look down below in that same column too, that's where it's showing like 2019 fiscal year to date sales is 1 million. All these, and let me make sure I'm looking. Yeah, F82. That's actually pulling this number from right here, this column. The total sales, and then the total sales for last. All these accounts last year did 2.3 something. So it doesn't, it's technically a negative right now because he's got a lot of carryover accounts.
Okay.
And you can manipulate this as how you see fit, right? There's run rates in here, so his run rate is 5.4 million in total sales if this holds true. And then you subtract. If you subtract what they did total last year, that's at 2.3 million. Robert, if he keeps this pace up, he should be somewhere in the $3 million in new business this year.
Okay.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
To me, this is a better report than Robel's, because Robel's, it's always like 30, 45 days behind, right? And if you do it this way and you take the time to add in your new business, you'll be able to react a lot sooner. Like, is somebody really on track to hitting their number? Are we off? Is there something we need to do, like a Kickstart or whatever, to get them on pace, or back on track to tracking? Maybe it's a carryover account. They did 200,000. You'd be able to look at this and go, hey, they're on track to just do 200,000. I'm not going to get any growth out of them, right? So, whatever you're trying to do to get that account to actually grow, so you can totally maximize your new business.
Yep, and this is very helpful. Yeah. That's why I'm harassing you, but thank you.
Yeah,
this is really helpful.
So you're gonna have to play. You have to play around a little bit to you need to get your dynamic sheet with the columns like that. Just repeat like the columns like he has in here and download it, and then just copy it into the dynamic. Save it to your desktop. And just don't forget every morning, because if you don't actually click this data ribbon and hit refresh from Dynamics, it's not going to work. You'll be looking at yesterday's numbers or 2 days ago's numbers versus yesterday's numbers.
Okay, I'll start playing with it.
Yeah.
Try it, and then if I get stuck, I'll bug you to see where I'm going wrong if I mess that up.
Yeah, if you get stuck, let's get back on a Zoom. I'll look at your screen, right, and I can help try to walk you through it. I'm going to play around with this a little bit more because my team has started using this, and now now that they're using it, they were um, they were starting to ask for more stuff like, hey, can you get it to show me like previous day sales and can you do it to where we can calculate commission? And I'm like, yeah, so we can add that in there to where instead of you going into CRM and looking at your commission report dashboard, right? We
Mm-hmm.
could actually have everything in here, so you can see your commissions, your previous day sales, where you're tracking for the month, and then what do the accounts look like, year over year, as day by day. So
That would be
uh,
awesome. So please keep me in the loop as you make updates to it.
yeah, no, absolutely. As I change this dashboard sort of here, I will just resend it back out, and then all you need to do is just you know, copy it back into your dynamic, and it should function correctly.
Okay.
So, hopefully this helps. This to me is really like Robert, like he really takes ownership of his territory, right? And this is a great tool to really dial it in, and you're not sort of being reactive, you're being more proactive, right?
Sure, I can use you.
So, where you just, particularly from a new business perspective, and an attrition perspective, if you have like a regular account up here that's big in attrition, like this is a good example. I have this for all my TSM. So when I look at this, probably on some of these guys looking at it every day, but I might look at this every week. And I come in here and I look at, like if I'm looking at this and I go, hey, what's up with Fantastic? Why are they down so much? Right. And I can start having a conversation now with them. Is it really something? Is it a job? Right. I just happen to know this account that the reason that it's quote unquote showing down is because it's job stuff. We have things in the pipeline, right? Is that really true? Do we really have it in the pipeline? We have signed POs, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Or if your contractor's trying to BS you, kind of thing. So
yeah, for sure. Okay,
but,
this is good. I think I'm gonna save this. So I'm gonna stop the recording so I can save it and put it on my Dropbox so that I can share it with the rest of the team.
Sure. And if somebody else on the rest of the team has a question about it, like they want to you need help kind of figuring out the formula stuff or getting it to work, I have no problem trying to walk somebody through it to get it set up, because once it's set up, it's set up. You shouldn't have to manipulate anything else.
Perfect. So one-time thing, one bit of effort, and then you're golden. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.